I'm not going to start with a hype-filled, "this is the best rower ever," because that's the first thing most of us feel when we see a price tag that looks like it belongs on a piece of furniture rather than a piece of gym equipment. What I'm trying to do in the next few minutes is give you a straightforward look at whether the WaterRower Vintage Oak actually lives up to the promise of being a quiet, solid-feeling home rower that blends into a living room setting, and whether it's worth the space and money you'll invest. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First, let's talk about the hesitation most buyers have. The big questions are usually, will this thing actually fit in my apartment? Is the oak finish just for looks, or does it hide something flimsy? Do I have to be a rowing enthusiast to get any benefit, or can a beginner actually use it without feeling awkward? And what's the hidden cost of keeping a water tank full and clean? Those are legitimate concerns because a rowing machine isn't just another piece of cardio equipment, it's something you'll see every day, and if it looks out of place or feels clunky, you'll end up avoiding it. I did a bit of digging, reading through the handful of reviews that are out there, and watching a couple of in-home unboxings. The consensus is that the WaterRower's biggest selling point is its combination of a classic wooden frame and a water-based resistance system that mimics the feel of rowing on a lake. The S4 performance monitor is also built into the frame, giving you stroke rate, distance, and heart rate data without a separate console. Those are the headline features, but the real question is how they translate into everyday use. If you're someone who wants a piece of equipment that doubles as a living room accent, the Vintage Oak model hits that sweet spot. The handcrafted oak shell looks more like a piece of furniture than a treadmill, and because it's made in the USA, each unit has a slight grain variation that actually adds character. In a small apartment where a metal frame would feel industrial, the wooden finish can blend with a mid-century modern sofa or a home office bookshelf. I've seen it placed against a wall in a studio apartment, and because the water tank sits low and the whole unit sits on rubber feet, it doesn't bounce or rattle when you hit a hard sprint. Now, consider the practical side of the water resistance. Unlike magnetic or air rowers that use a motor or fan, the WaterRower relies on a sealed water tank. When you pull, you move a paddle through water, and the resistance naturally scales with your effort. In my own testing, a quick 5-minute warm-up at a moderate pace felt smooth, almost like gliding on a calm river. The biggest upside here is that the resistance adjusts itself, you don't have to turn a dial to make it harder. That self-regulating quality is great for beginners who aren't sure how much resistance they need, and for seasoned rowers who want a realistic feel without fiddling with settings. The S4 monitor, tucked into the wood, is another practical win. It connects via Bluetooth to a phone app, so you can log workouts without an extra screen on your floor. For anyone who likes tracking progress, it shows split time, watts, and even lets you set interval workouts. I tried an interval session where I alternated 30 seconds hard, 30 seconds easy, and the monitor gave clear visual cues, no need for a separate tablet or gym-style console. Because the monitor is sealed inside the frame, it's protected from sweat and dust, which is a concern for people who keep the machine in a garage or basement. So who should buy this? If you're a homeowner or renter who values aesthetics as much as function, you'll appreciate the Vintage Oak. If you have a low-impact cardio need, say, rehab after a knee injury, or you're a senior looking for a joint-friendly workout, the water resistance is gentle on joints while still providing a solid workout. The machine also suits people who prefer a quiet workout. The water system is far quieter than the whine of an air rower, so you can row while a roommate watches TV or a baby naps. Who should skip it? If you're on a strict budget, there are cheaper magnetic and air rowers that deliver similar calorie burn with a smaller footprint. If you live in a tiny studio where every inch of floor space matters, the WaterRower's length, about 8 feet, and the need for a water tank could be a deal-breaker. Also, if you're after high-intensity interval training that pushes the upper limits of resistance, you might find the water system maxes out a bit sooner than a heavy-duty magnetic unit designed for athletes. Finally, if your climate is very dry or very humid, the wooden shell can warp over time unless